I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on Spotlight, I'm delighted to introduce you to a very talented author. Her name is Deborah Grady, and she has written a charming children's book. It is called Jungle Buddies. This delightful story follows Lenny, a young lion cub, and his elder friend Lionel as they explore the Sudanese jungle, learning about courage, strength, and survival. We're delighted to have this talented author join us here today on Spotlight. We thank our team at Atticus Publishing for helping us put her in the spotlight today. And we ask viewers like you to support writers like her by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing her wonderful book. The links are below this interview. Deborah, great to see you today.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing great. I'm so happy to
Good.
talk to you. I love your book, Jungle Buddies. Where did you come up with the idea?
Well, I was watching the National Geographics and I was looking at how the lions survived in the wild and how they dealt with their young, and it inspired me to write a children's book.
Well, that's great. And so it's based in fact, but it's a fictional book, of course. You
Right.
personalize these characters, and but you've added elements like the Sudanese jungle, so it's specific. So there's something to be entertained by here and something to learn about here as well, don't you think?
Correct, correct. As far as it's learning about different generations, that one generation needs the other generation to help along through life.
Is this the first book you've written?
Yes, it is. It took me a while because I started it back when I was like 65, and I just did draft after draft, and I finally completed it when I was turned 67.
Okay, well, it's a couple of years in the making, but good things
Yeah,
come to those who wait. So we're glad you took your
right.
time and came out with it. I love the illustrations as well. Tell me a little bit about those.
It's just an illustration where they're sitting under a shade tree, and it's just how they combine together with their friendship. They become, as an older and a younger lions, become friends at the very end. And they
Yep.
sit under the shade tree thinking about their new experiences they're going to have as they proceed through life.
Have you tested this book on any children? Have you read it to any kids?
My next door neighbor had her little girl read it, and she said it really delighted it. Was delighted with it.
Great, great. That's wonderful, wonderful. Now, one of the themes you talk about in the book is survival. That can be a tough concept to explain to children. How did you go about writing about that in an accessible and an engaging way for young readers?
Well, I took it as when they were trying to hunt for food, and every time they would try to establish a kill or to get some meals, they ended up chasing away the animals. The animals chased away, and they became hungry, and their stomachs were not filled, and they just had to come up with different practices, like in life, that you go through life and you need the heads of two heads are better than one. So you had to combine your efforts.
Absolutely. Let's give the folks at home the big picture. What's the story basically about?
The story is about a cautious but curious lion cub, and he tries to have this instruction of the elderly lion to help him along.
And have you envisioned this perhaps as a animated feature?
I thought about it, and it
Yeah.
would definitely be a good movie, an
Yeah.
animation.
Absolutely. It would be a fun adventure to have on the screen. It'd be nice to
Yeah.
see your work brought to life, no doubt. And I think kids would get a kick out of it as well. And are you working on any other books right now?
The next one I was working on is called Finding Blinky. And it has to deal with I was stepping outside, and then there's a nearby creek, and I saw a baby possum. And I
Hmm.
just thought about what would it be like to have an animated book of this little possum going through the neighborhood and the things he would encounter um, as he kind of escapes a little girl or a dog or a woman, walking her dog, and these things that he would encounter through the neighborhood.
It sounds fun. Now, what stage are you at in developing that book?
I'm at the point where I'm getting ready to publish it. So
Great.
I'm doing the final draft of it.
Okay, congratulations on that. Is it going to be a picture book as well, or mostly
Yes, a
just,
picture
yep.
book as well.
So did you have to collaborate with an artist?
I haven't done that yet. I haven't sent in the manuscript to go to the illustrator yet.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, that'll be a fun process too, because
Yeah.
then you'll get to collaborate and
Mhm.
give your vision for your work as well. With Jungle Buddies, is there a favorite moment or lesson from the book that you think is particularly helpful or impactful for children?
I think when it comes to when they're stopping by to get a drink of water from the waterfall, it looks and it tells me that in life we have to rest, and the technology that is going on in the 21st century has to deal with extension of life. And we
Hmm.
have technology that has evolved through helping us navigate through life.
Now, the Sudanese jungle is the setting for your book. Is it significant that you set it in the Sudanese jungle?
No, not particularly. It's just the idea that it was a jungle setting.
Right. And it
Right.
also introduces kids to the concept
The
of
concept
not
of it.
just a jungle, but a particular jungle. And, that sounds wonderful as well. And
Mhm.
so you've written your second book. Tell me a little bit about your career. Did you always work with children, or have you always had an interest in children?
Well, it started, where I got the inspiration is like I was seeing how my father was limited in education, and I wanted to help people navigate through the English language and the fact that I became a teacher. And then
Hmm.
dealing with children's books, I decided that I had taught 1 year of kindergarten, and I was fascinated by that age group, like kindergarten to first or second graders.
So you've been a school teacher.
Yes, I've been retired after 30 years of instruction. I
Wow.
started in high school, but I gravitated toward elementary school in the very later years.
Well, you know a lot about strength and survival then, because it's not easy
Yes,
to survive in the jungle of the school, the
correct,
blackboard jungle, right?
correct.
Yeah, with all the
Yeah,
little wild animals, aka children, they can be tough.
yeah.
They can be tough. Well, I'm sure that your students, who are probably a little bit older now, are happy to see you're doing well and that you've gotten a new path in your life as an
Mhm.
author, a children's author. So that's very, very exciting. Do you have a favorite grade that you used to teach? Did you like kindergarten, first grade, second grade? I know you said you also taught high school.
Yes, well, I liked third grade and I also liked eighth. In
Okay.
eighth grade, it was just the idea that they weren't mature enough to say that they could be on their own. So they needed a lot of navigation through the writing process, which I helped along.
So did you focus a lot on language arts when you were teaching?
Pretty much language arts, grammar, and the idea of creating an idea and then letting that develop into a paper.
Gotcha. Wonderful, wonderful. And were you teaching in Atlanta as well?
I taught a couple of years in Atlanta. I did most of my teaching in Chicago, Illinois.
Okay, great. So you started your career in Chicago and then moved to Atlanta because you said the heck with these winters.
No, no. I left. I went from Chicago, and true enough, I went to Detroit. And then from Detroit, I got to the
Then you
point
said the
that,
heck with these
yeah,
winters.
that these winters were unbearable. So I went to Atlanta. And
Yeah,
that's you. Well, you still have four seasons in Atlanta,
yeah.
but it's not as brutal as Chicago or Detroit.
And exactly. And come February, you get some 60-degree days.
Yeah,
By St. Patrick's Day, it's almost hot, which is great.
yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah. It's a
nice.
beautiful climate. You do get the four seasons and you do get a little bit of everything, but you just don't have a winter that lasts 6 months like you do in Chicago and Detroit and New York and all of the
Right.
cold, cold cities. It's also a more livable city, I find as well.
It
Well,
is.
this book is terrific. It is called Jungle Buddies. It is written by Deborah Grady, a former school teacher, a retired school teacher. She spent a lot of years in the trenches. She knows about strength, determination, and survival, and she's put those values into her story. It follows a young lion cub by the name of Lenny, who has an older friend by the name of Lionel as they explore the Sudanese jungle. Deborah, thank you so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
Thank you.
My pleasure. And to the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time. Until next time on Spotlight.